Yeah, Silent Hill TD, yes, what's up? Yeah, come on. I.O.W. Sports Network, late night edition. Let's go. Come on.
We about to raise the bar. Wild card mall. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mall. We about to raise the bar. Wild card mall. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mall. Hey. L Boogie with the hot flame, ashtray full of top names, little tree for your membrane. This the 9-hour time frame. I just snatched up a 6-pack, got my hands on a lid pack, whipping up a little batch of snacks. Yeah, man, I think I'm all set. Late night, can't sleep. Go ahead and just tap in. Better grab you a cold one, and we about to get some laughs in. Wild card on the microphone, he'll hit you with a couple flurries. Y'all need to just strap in for some entertainment sports commentary. We about to raise the bar. Wild card mall. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mall. We about to raise the bar. Wild card mall.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Y'all know what it is. Welcome. We're going to play all the sound effects today, man, because it's a crazy Taco Tuesday. You know what it is. Your man Walkamar in the building. And if you see me, you see my Brody. And yes, he has a very interesting name, but that is Randy Weber, the hater of all haters of anything happiness in Philly. What's good, bro?
Nothing is good. Nothing is good right now. Oh, I'm full of hate. Oh, like the haters ball, just hate.
Hate. Hey, man, you can't have so much hate, though. You've been having a great summer, bro.
That's true. Look, that's the one thing, because there's a lot in this that I get to flex about on Philly fans, and that's like the one solace of the situation.
Craziness. Hey, as always, man, we got a lot to talk about. We're gonna do pretty much a training camp storyline show. We'll get to that after we talk about the main thing. Y'all know what we got to talk about, but pretty much what we're gonna do is we're gonna go by divisions. All right, so there's 8 divisions, so we're gonna have 8 different divisions, and we're gonna kind of give our storylines per division. Kind of think what's going to happen. What you think is going to happen this upcoming NFL season? Is the team going to be competing? Are they going to be, great? Are they going to be dog shit? We'll discuss it all. But we got to get to the main gusto. And y'all know what we here for. I know what y'all been waiting on. Y'all been waiting for what the Taco Tuesday fellas was going to say about LeJawn in Philly. He's now LeJawn. Yeah. I think for me, Big Dog, I think Philly was kind of always on the board, especially you saw them putting the team together, especially after they made the trade for Jaylen Brown. I was like, I've seen teams put together like this be attracted to a guy like LeBron. And so I kind of sense that was always on the board. And of course, you got to siphon through the crap on the internet or what's getting reported and whatnot. Obviously, I think people say Golden State went in there. I find that hard to believe, because especially with Draymond just signed his extension, yesterday? And after all this has gone down, and for him to kind of wait for that, the timing of that kind of tells me that Golden State was in there. They were trying to make it work money-wise. Obviously, Cleveland was in the runnings. I mean, it is pretty much your final decision. So, the sentimental thing was there. Miami, Now, I don't know about you. Now, him and Rich Paul talking about, well, if the Knicks did win the championship, we would have. I don't know how you feel about that, but I think that was a whole bunch of bullshit. Like, don't say that. Like, that's kind of weird, but I don't know how you feel. You could definitely speak on that, but I'm just of the mindset, dog. Like, cool, you made a decision, we got it. All right, we know where you're playing. Now Adam Silver can go ahead and put his schedule together now since he was waiting on you. And all right. My only thing is all right, what's the narrative going to be if they don't win? That's the only thing I'm kind of like, what's the narrative going to be? Because there's going to be stuff that's going to be said if they don't win. I mean, that's if we're looking at it on paper, that's a formidable team. It really is. If we're talking basketball, it's a formidable team. Now, y'all can have the circus and whatnot that comes with LeBron and all that. I'm just kind of at this point, I'm like, hey, all right, it's your final decision. Either you win or you don't. That's just kind of where I'm at. I don't need the theatrics. I don't need all the other bullshit. Just either win or don't. All right. Period. That's where I'm at. I'll let you have the floor, my dog, because this 25 years in, the man still got the NBA pretty much wrapped around his finger. So
yeah. So obviously, this was, of all of the choices, my least favorite choice. I also thought that it was the least likely choice of the main four because my expectation was that he wanted to go somewhere for legacy reasons, right? So his home team, the other team, big team that he played for, or his former rival team with stars of his age, all to me made more sense for him. Obviously, there are personal reasons that, we don't know. But this does seem to be primarily basketball driven. I do think it's very funny, and I love the spit on the Philly fans that LeBron doesn't even want to live in Philly. He's living in New York, which does give more credence to the idea that he reached out to New York first, and one of the two sides ended up not being interested. I think it was the Knicks side, and I am glad. Not because I don't think LeBron is still a very good player or can make a team better, but we already proved that we have a championship formula as is, and I don't think there was any need to mess with that. But LeBron going to Philly, I think, is a confirmation that New York was on his radar at some point, and for whatever reason that didn't end up happening. So he's instead living in New York. He doesn't even want to live with y'all, and as he shouldn't. He's not trying to step on shit everywhere. So I don't like it. Obviously, as a fan of the team in the East that they're going to be mainly competing with. I also don't love it for LeBron for legacy reasons, because the obvious motivation for LeBron is that he's trying to catch up to Mike. He wants a fifth ring. Yeah, it's a 2-year deal. He has 2 years to win 2 titles.
If he goes back to back, now come on. Now I don't mean to cut you already, but if he goes back to back, I think that does kind of slightly change the conversation.
Maybe, but not as much as it would in really at Miami or Golden State, because if you look at this team, because this has been the big criticism that's been levied at LeBron by mainly old heads, but it's a fair critique that he has had a lot of help on all of his championship teams.
Yeah.
And he has hopped around to make sure of that. And that's not inherently a bad thing. But if you're comparing him to Michael, of all of the inner circle, top 12 or so players, he has won the most with the least help. The best player he's played with is Scottie Pippen.
Yeah.
Scottie Pippen is really only considered a top 50-ish player because of what he did with Michael. If we're being real. Very good player, but he was a Robin. And, you have guys like Dennis Rodman, who came there for a little bit, but Mike showed that he was more than able to win without him. Of all of the players that Michael got, it was more or less incidental. He wasn't the one that was pulling the strings to get these players. They were just the ones that were there, and they got brought onto the team, whatever. But he won with who he had. LeBron went and got people. And it's when you go to a team like the Miami Heat, when he made his original Sound Beach move, and you're going with prime Dwayne Wade, prime Dwayne Wade, kind of, his knees were getting a little fucked, but
got the last prime of Dwayne though.
Yeah, at least at the beginning. And then Chris Bosh, and then you go and then you bring in Kyrie and Kevin Love, and then you go to the Lakers and you're lead GM and you bring in Anthony Davis. It's like that was a not illegitimate criticism, but because LeBron was always the star of the team, there was only so much it worked against him. It's like, well, everyone needs to have good teammates. The only player among those that's been a successful one was Dwayne Wade. The rest of them were all Robins. So he was always the Finals MVP. He, the one championship where he led both teams in every major stat. Like, you could never really argue that he was being carried by anybody.
Oh yeah, for the most part.
Now,
for the most part, yeah.
I think you're going to be able to very easily make that argument. It's very unlikely that he's going to be the best player on this team at his current age. There's a good chance he'll be the third best player on the team. There's a not 0% chance he'll be the fourth best player on the team, depending on if Embiid is healthy and like as good as he can be. So if Jaylen Brown and Tyrese Maxey are this first and second option, I know that he's expected to play the one, so he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot. But if Jaylen Brown and Tyrese Maxey are the two better players on the team and you're the third best player and you win a championship like that, does that really put you any closer to Michael? I don't see why. Like, this team, even without LeBron, was a contender.
Good team, yeah. It was a good
team. This was kind of what I was saying the last time we were talking about it. Like, if he went to the Miami Heat, nobody thinks the Heat could win right now. No. He would be the two behind Giannis, but the team is so depleted after that, like Giannis and Bam, that LeBron being a strong second option to a really shallow team and winning would be more respectable than this. Golden State, same deal. He'd be either the one or the two, probably more of like a 1A, 1B with Steph. It's also a really shallow team. If he won with those two situations would mean a lot more. The Cavaliers less so, because the Cavaliers are also really loaded. And I've heard, and I think there's some credence to this, that he didn't want to play with James Harden, which, if that's the reason he didn't end up going back to Cleveland,
it makes total sense.
It does make total sense.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, me either. But also, we've talked about how bad of a trade that was even before knowing that. If that is true, that's a really bad trade the Cavaliers made, as it turns out.
I would have never made it.
yeah, absolutely not. So I guess those are all my thoughts. Like, obviously, I don't like it because of he's a direct competitor to the Knicks. I think it's funny that the 76ers were essentially a rebound for us, but also I think of all of the teams he could have chosen to win a chip with and do something for his legacy, it might have been the worst choice, because he will get the least credit of the four if they do win. Or at least maybe compared to the Cavs, it's like, close, but definitely Heat or Warriors.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe this move is for basketball reasons. It does make sense if he really wants to compete for a championship. Yeah, it does. I'll give him that. It makes a lot of sense. What's going on? It does make a formidable starting five, especially if that's a healthy Embiid. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So appreciate you. So if that's a healthy Embiid, that's a formidable starting five, without a doubt, basketball reasons. But I can't help but to look at the fact that, why did this man, he don't want to live in the city? That's kind of odd. And you know how Philly fans, sports fans are. Like, if I'm a Philly sports fan, like damn, like, you only just you just want to come play ball and bounce. Like you don't even want to integrate in the city. Hey, that feels kind of.
To be fair, would you?
Hey man, for those that know me, 2 years ago I went to WrestleMania 40 in Philly. Right, I drove my car. I drove down there. I shit you not, my car ain't been the same since. That's 2 years ago, bro.
Yeah, that's
makes sense.
That's so funny.
I'm just being look. There were some good parts of Philly. It won a lot, but I mean, I survived, and I survived WrestleMania. Yeah, Philly different, man. I think and I never shared this with anybody, but I don't know how y'all. I see why y'all live in Philly. It's because y'all can't get out. Because I feel like their system is set up to keep y'all broke and y'all staying stuck in Philly, and then y'all just deal with it. And I don't get it. Like, get out of there. Get out. Get out.
That's why they're so mad.
That's why y'all so mad. There's a whole America out there. I promise you there is. But still, if I'm a Philly fan and I'm like, yo, like, damn, you don't even want to. You rather live in New York? Like that's almost an insult that you rather live in New York instead of living in the city that you playing for. Like I don't know. I just think the optics of that looks kind of crazy. It may be something small. It may not mean nothing to other people, but just to me. And for that information that even got out, that's kind of crazy.
That man has basically told Philly that he would rather take that commute from New York City to Philly every day with New York City and Philly traffic. Like sure. I'm talking that man is stuck on the turnpike.
Come on, that's Jordan. We know that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah, that man's gonna be stuck on the turnpike. He's gonna be like that's a long ass commute. He's making every day. He'd rather do that than live amongst y'all peasants. And I do love that. I can't not love that.
I think it's hilarious, but optics wise, if I'm a fan, I'm kind of offended. And this is a good question, but it also kind of speaks to what I want to transition to next about this. Is obviously he was on my team for the last, I think it was 7-8 years in LA. And we got a long list of legacy players, and to answer your question, the true question is the greatest is Julius Erving because he won championships and he was just so different. And
yeah, Wilt's the best player among them, but Erving was the best for the franchise.
Yes, but I will say this, AI was good for the culture of 76ers. He's the culture of 76ers. Like he I know he didn't win, but he embodies the whole like grit, toughness of Philly of 76ers. But the true answer could have been Joel Embiid if he could ever stay healthy. But regardless, I'll say this: I don't know. Is with him?
Oh well, actually, Wilt won a. I forgot. Wilt won a title with the 76ers too. So actually, yeah, that the answer is Wilt.
Okay. Hey.
Yeah, and he won the Finals MVP. Moses did for Irving's year. So
well, I mean, he had Moses Malone on his team. Yeah, so
right, yeah.
So yeah. Didn't I could rock with Wilt being that answer, but I'm just to get back to this legacy part of because he was just on my team for the 8 years, and obviously we got a long list of legacy players on the Lakers franchise, and I just kind of felt like he just never kind of fit our franchise or at least the history of it. He just didn't fit. Obviously he was a big name, big stars, and that's what he fit that part of Lakers. I'm talking about like, the championship, always contending for championship, winning multiple championships, like a Magic and Kareem with the Showtime Lakers, like a Kobe, Shaq. So, but regardless, as we just talked about the greatest 76ers, is there enough time in 2 years for him to even crack that list?
No, unless he goes back to back. I don't think just with 2 years,
I
you'd have to go back to back.
I'm asking now because that question is going to get asked, and we got to get prepared for this. So if whatever he does in 2 years, like, see, that's what I'm saying. If he wins back to back, I mean, Philly fans might adore the shit out of him. You know what I'm saying?
They might get over his address. They might have to.
No, that has to irritate the shit out of you that this is happening. And Boston has literally helped them.
Yeah.
I think that's the kicker of the whole, all this getting put together in Philly is that Boston literally helped some of this. And I'm kind of just like, why would you do that?
Yeah, no, like we already said that it was like a historically bad trade, and it was. It's been made even worse now because there's good reason to believe that if the Jaylen Brown trade doesn't happen, LeBron going there also doesn't happen. So you made them like a borderline super team.
Yeah.
You made a team that just beat you in the playoffs, that you blew a 3-1 lead to. You made that team a borderline super team for the following season. Awesome. Good job, guys.
It is.
And you got Paul George back for it.
Hey, just buy him out, bro. You ain't going.
Yeah.
I say this to your answer to your question. How are the refs officiating the game? Because 83 Sixers played 80s basketball. 2026 Sixers or NBA team, they played 2026 basketball. It's two totally different basketballs.
Yeah. Also, what modern team? Like, do you mean teams from this past season? Do you mean teams? Because, like, if you're talking like the KD Warriors, no, they would not.
Shit, no.
If you're talking like most teams within the, I don't know, 2010, like the Heat Big Three, probably not them either. Most other teams, though, within our era, they'd probably have a good chance to win. Maybe the Kawhi Spurs. Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on who you're counting for like modern teams. But like, definitely not the best of the Warriors, and there are a couple other teams that would give them trouble.
Yeah. It just I just go by how. Excuse me. How are you letting the refs officiate the game? If you're letting them get physical, I'll favor any team for the 80s over any team today. It's just because, I mean, their physical was different. It was, and I don't know if some of these guys, some of these young generations, they're soft, man. All right, you know, not everybody can be physical in this NBA right now. Not everybody can handle it. And I think that's why the Knicks won, is because they're a more physical team. And you saw, you know, as you see, for some reason, there's a difference in officiating between regular season and playoff. It's just regular season basketball and it's playoff basketball. And the refs help.
Right. Like, I don't know why they don't just officiate it all like playoff basketball. Like, it would be so much better if they just did that. If they just all of it, they treated like playoff basketball.
Well, to be fair, I think if they did, I don't know if the endurance or the durability, which is already a concern and a problem now, I don't know if they officiated and let them be a little bit more physical throughout the whole 82. I don't think we would get some of your stars by the time we get to the playoffs.
Well, I mean, you said what my response would have been. Everyone's already hurt all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it could get worse, I guess, but you know, like people are staying out for like 40 games because someone was slightly in their landing spot. Like it's
it's crazy. So and I've been listening to so many sports podcasts, and I talked about it. I've been on other people's platform and talked about it. I can't explain how they're playing less games now than they were back then. I can't explain it. I don't know the answer.
Yeah. No, it's got to be something with like medical science. It's got to be something with like the way that they train. Probably like, I know that the joke about like older players is like they were plumbers with side jobs and all of that. maybe just the heightened amount of play that they have basically from high school to when they're in the NBA, constant training, maybe more physical stress on the body. That's one guess, but I don't know. I think there have been studies on it though. I think that'd be an interesting thing to deep dive.
Nah, no doubt, no doubt. As we transition to some football talk, because baseball had their time to shine, and well, it's training camp time, and that is just the music to everybody's ear. Football fans is back, baby, and I mean, what, next week we got the Hall of Fame game, I think, already. So that's another sign that football is back, and then August is right here, and then at the end of the month you get college football back. So yes, we made it. We survived. So I'm going to do a quick training camp storyline, little scenario right here. And we're going to start with the champs. Obviously, Arizona Cardinals, Seattle Seahawks, Los Angeles Rams, San Francisco 49ers. Look, I just think my storyline is simple. I do not think that the champs are going to repeat. I lost some key pieces. 49ers, I don't know if they're going to be healthy enough. They will compete. They managed to get double-digit wins with a lot of injuries last year. I do favor the Rams to get out of this division as the champs, and I'm going to just go ahead and mark this down. I do not be surprised if they represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. And you got 3 potential playoff teams, one potential Super Bowl winning team, and then you got that one disastrous piece of crap franchise that is the Arizona Cardinals. Find a way to get that team sold. That's all I got for you. Take it away, Randy.
Yeah. So the Rams are my favorite to win it all. They are most people's favorite to win it all. That's not really a surprise. They're a loaded team. They have the reigning MVP at quarterback. They have the reigning unanimous decoy who just broke the 18-game sack record. Their biggest issue was in the secondary, and they took your guys' corners. They're the most loaded team by far. Aaron Donald might be coming back to play with them.
That's still a possibility, which is crazy. You talking about loading the deck? Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and it's what they do. It's just how they won the championship the last time was by putting a crazy super team together. That's when they first brought in Stafford. Kupp was having his historic season. And then they brought in Von Miller, they brought in Jalen Ramsey, put them next to Aaron Donald. This is how they win. They just load up everything. And so they're the favorite. I agree the Seahawks are not. I think they will still be a very good team. But losing Kenneth Walker, losing Kobe Bryant, losing the corner that went to the Eagles, whose name I'm forgetting right now. Tariq Woolen.
Woolen. Yeah.
Yeah. Those things do hurt. I think their defense will still be really good. I don't think it'll be as good as it was last year. So I think they'll still be a very good team. They should make the playoffs, but it'll be in the wild card, and I think they will, be a very good team. I don't think they're going to win it all. 49ers, always depends on health with them. We'll see if CMC can stay healthy again. We will see if George Kittle can stay healthy again. We'll see what they look like with Mike Evans. We'll see what the defense looks like, because the defense was as bad as they were last year because they didn't have Bosa or Warner. Even when they are there, the defense isn't like a loaded unit anymore. After the past couple years, I think it was 2 years ago, where all of their stars were gutted, except for those two, Greenlaw, Hargrave, all of them left. Travarius Ward. They have not been a great unit since then, but Obviously, having Bosa and Warner back will keep them at least being a solid unit.
Yep.
We'll see if Michael Williams can be anything. I was pretty low on him in the draft. He was bad and then injured in his first year. We'll see if he can add any pass rush help for Bosa. So I think they will be a good, not great team. Shanahan, obviously, arguably the best coach in the NFL, will absolutely raise their floor. We'll see what he could do with their ceiling. And then the Cardinals, I project to be the worst team in the NFL.
They're going to be abysmal.
They're going to be abysmal. They have Jacoby Brissett at quarterback. They paid him.
Well, they
Why
had no
would
choice.
you pay him?
They had no choice, Randy. And
No,
look,
that's not because they're supposed to be tanking right now. If why are you? You could have just started Carson Beck and gotten closer to your goal.
I hear you, but it's because you can't. Yes, we know you're tanking, but you just can't outright just be like blatant with it. So I think if you see Carson Beck out there, I think you're blatantly showing you're tanking.
We're trying our third round rookie quarterback and giving him a chance.
Ain't nobody buying that.
Is starting Jacoby Brissett
No.
less blatant tanking?
You know what kills your theory is because Carson Beck is involved. If this was like Ty Simpson, I can give you that. I can argue that. If this was last year's draft, some of those quarterbacks that came out, I give you that. It's Carson Beck. I can't let that theory rock, dog.
He made the college finals last year.
I can't let that theory rock. But I will say this. I'm Team Jacoby on this is because if there's a league that Daniel Jones can get $40 million, why can I not at least get 20? And that's all he was really asking for.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, good for Jacoby. Like, this isn't like anti-Jacoby as like a guy. Like, I'm always supporting players getting bags. It's just from the team standpoint, you're trying to get Arch Manning. You don't have to pay a quarterback. You're not going to be good. You drafted a running back 3 overall when you still don't have an offensive line. Your biggest issue was right tackle. You didn't address it at all, so it's still going to be bad. This is very obviously going to be an Ashton Genty situation again.
Oh my God, I feel bad for my man.
Yeah, no, Jeremiah is going to get beat the fuck up back there. Why would you not draft like Francis Mauigoa or Spencer Fano there?
He's going to be so over this rookie season, dog. He's going to be like, yo, fuck.
Yeah, no, for real. By the time that they're any sort of good, they're gonna have to pay him even more. Like, just terrible franchise management.
No, his body's gonna be tore by the time they get time to pay him because he's gonna be going through so much.
He may not even be good anymore. Like, by the time he gets an offensive line and a passing game next to him, he might not even be good anymore. He'll be too banged up, and they will have paid him the most guaranteed money for any running back to not play well with him. Yeah, and then the defense isn't good either. They have some pieces like Josh. I think Josh Sweat's still on the team. Josh Sweat's really good.
And he already wants to get there.
Yeah, Walter Nolan showed some flashes of good play. We'll see if he can just stay on the field. Marvin Harrison Jr. might make the jump. He did look better with Jacoby Brissett than he did with Kyler Murray for whatever reason. They have Trey McBride, who's great, but the entire team is just bad. Like, you're starting Jacoby Brissett with no O-line to give him. Like, the team's not going to be good. So,
not at all.
Arch Manning sweepstakes for them.
Oh man, they're gonna be watching a lot of Texas football in Arizona.
They're gonna be watching that more than their own games.
Yeah, probably so. Don't be surprised if they start wearing burnt orange instead of red. So, let's get over to the AFC West, of course, the division that I'm in. The Chiefs, Raiders, we got the Broncos, and we got the Chargers. My storyline for this is, no, I'm not being a homer, but you should have put us to bed when you had the chance, and you should have got on the mountaintop. Hey, Patrick Mahomes just got cleared to participate in training camp. Right? So you know what that means. He's online. He's on track for week 1. You had your shots. You had your chance. You had him on the injury, and you had him on a bad team last year with a lot of things that just weren't common. Wasn't common, I guess, of becoming of what the Chiefs have been for the last 8-9 years. So you had your chance. Broncos, you're going to get caught slipping. Chargers, going to get caught slipping. Raiders, I've been on record to say this. I do like the competent moves that they have made this offseason. I do think they'll be slightly better. They still won't be very good, but they will be better than what they definitely were last year. So bookmark that for sure. They'll definitely be a lot better than what they were last year. They're just making competent moves, and I think, just my opinion, I think Brady is starting to put his hands on that franchise and starting to get a little bit more active and voice his opinion a little bit more. Just my opinion. So, but yeah, that's what I got on that division. You had your chance, but they're going to be back where we're used to seeing them. That's all I got to say. That's the headlines.
Yeah. So I do expect the Chiefs to win the division, but just by body of work, track record, and all that. But I mean, there's still all questions on the team. Like, you have Patrick Mahomes, and it's Patrick Mahomes. If he is healthy, then you're fine. But that that doesn't mean that everything else shouldn't be looked at. I still think there are questions on the offensive line. It was noticeably worse after you guys lost Joe Tooney. Now you are starting Jalen Moore. Jalen Moore is a question mark. I know the Chiefs fans really like him, but I do think it is a question mark with him as a starter because he, at this point, hasn't been. So we'll see what that looks like, especially considering that Patrick Mahomes is kind of just barely coming back. That could end up being a serious issue. Weapons are always kind of a question mark with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
There are the secondary after losing Trent McDuffie. Mansour Delane better be really good immediately. I think he will be, but he is a rookie that is asking a lot. I like the Chiefs a lot. We'll see. A lot of things still have to go right for them. Broncos, very loaded team. Their main issue was the skill positions, I think, and they bring in Jalen Waddle, address that immediately. I think Bo Nix will be better because he'll be throwing to Jalen Waddle. He now has more experience. He had a great game against the Bills to end their season. And I mean, that defense is loaded. The offensive line is loaded. They did lose John Franklin Myers, which sucks, but like most of the defensive pieces are still there. I expect the Broncos to still be a great team. Chargers getting their tackles back. They managed to get to the playoffs with the worst offensive line in the NFL. Now they're getting 2-star tackles back. They brought in some draft pieces for the interior O-line. So it looks more like depth than starters, but it helps. Defense is always good. Harbaugh's always good. Herbert is always good. I think those three teams, it's going to be a dogfight between the Chiefs, Broncos, and Chargers. Raiders, I agree that they're going to be better than they were. There are still offensive line issues. They still also did not address their right tackle need. The offensive line was the worst in the NFL. They bring in Tyler Linderbaum. That by itself should raise the floor, but the right side is still a ton of question marks. They're starting Kirk Cousins and then transitioning into a rookie. There's always learning pains with that. The team's not so great that a rookie should just be able to be plug and play in there. It's going to be, learning pains for him. The defense is a lot of new pieces. It'll be better than it was, but we'll see how much better. And they have a rookie head coach. So I like Clint Kubiak a lot. I think he did a great job as offensive coordinator with the Seahawks, but he is a rookie head coach. So I think It'll be a dogfight between the top 3 teams. I think the Raiders will be at the bottom, but I don't think they'll be embarrassing. I think they will be showing flashes of a team that's going in the right direction, but they will be the worst team of the 4.
Yeah. I'm just not sure if Broncos or Chargers did enough to say that if we're dealing with the Chiefs of usual, if they done enough to still compete. I could be wrong. I don't know. You sound a little optimistic about Bo Nix than I do.
Yeah, he's played well. Like, he is inconsistent still, but as the season went on, he did get better and better, especially in fourth quarters. And realistically, just look at both teams. Not just both quarterbacks, but both top to bottom teams. Can you comfortably say the Chiefs are a better roster than the Broncos are?
No, but there's certain players that cover so much that they cover the lack thereof of certain talent. Like
Mahomes is Mahomes. That obviously
he covers so much.
Yes.
Even Kelsey, to a certain degree, even though he's even getting older, was still very productive last year. Covers so much. Chris Jones covers so much. So, yes, you may lack certain talent, but your stars are stars. You know what I'm saying? And so they cover so much, and that's why I think when you get to that point and they won so much, you get content, and that's why you get lackadaisical on filling out the rest of your roster. Like other teams, I'm comfortable with what we got because it's proven. And then all of a sudden, once you you have a season like last year, like, all right, everybody's getting better because they're tired of us. So now we got to get better and up the floor again. So I just think that where the Chiefs are at, look, the Broncos are very talented. Chargers are very talented.
And also, the coaching between all 3 of y'all, you guys might have 3 of the top 5 coaches.
Yes. And this is a good question too. What's up, Crafty Southpaw? Long time no see. He says how would Knicks and Mahomes perform coming straight off of bad injuries, and obviously, that is the reason that's a good question is because with Nick's injury, because I think he had the ankle. I'm not sure how he's doing. I haven't seen any reports, but this is a knee injury.
Weird thing with Peyton at the end of the season too. Also,
kind of. If they ever end up at the same event, it'd be kind of awkward. But no, we don't know. We don't know until we see. And oddly enough, we'll see at the same time, week 1. So as they both Monday night Broncos Chiefs. So and hopefully both will be cleared to play, and hopefully we can get that answer to that question right there. But let's move on to our next division. Hey, let's go to your division. Big homie, I'll let you start off this time with your division. The Giants, Cowboys, Eagles, and of course, Commandos.
Yeah, the Giants are winning the division. So we'll start it like that. Jackson Dart was the best rookie quarterback last year. He excelled tremendously and looked like a really good quarterback with basically no help. Malik Neighbors was out after their first game playing together. So he had to throw to Wan'Dale Robinson, Darius Slayton, and Lil Jordan Humphrey, and he lit up 2 of the top 5 defenses in the NFL with that as his help. Well, he had Neighbors for the Chargers, but he did his first start in a regular season game. He lit up the Chargers defense. Then he lit up without Malik Neighbors, throwing to that group, the Eagles defense. And then without Cam Scatterbo at this point, he lit up the Broncos defense. And Shane Bowen's defense failed him. This was in his first season with all of his help going down on that fucking MetLife turf. Um, and due to Zach Bond's illegal play that he still hasn't been fined for, since they promised that they were going to be fined for doing illegal hip drop tackles, and don't think that I forgot about that. But Scadaboo should be back. Malik Neighbors is not on the PUP list that they just announced a couple days ago, so he might be ready to start week 1. And we also brought in Calvin Austin for some receiver depth. We also brought in Darnell Mooney for receiver depth. We drafted Malachi Fields, a big contested catch machine. This will be a much better weapons group, especially if Neighbors stays healthy, than he had to work with last year. And last year he was pretty damn good with all of that. Offensive line should be much better. Interior line's always been a problem for us. We bring in Francis Mawigoa to play right guard. He played as great as he did at tackle. He should be a great guard to start. The offensive line already improved vastly beyond what it had been in the past, even only a year prior, and it should be even better than that. Defense, we lose Dexter Lawrence. That's the biggest loss by far. Super sad about that. Big sad. But we have the best edge group of the division with Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, Kayvon Thibodeau as depth until they trade him. We'll see whether they trade him. I think they should. Or let him go for a comp pick or whatever. But and then we bring in Arvell Reese, arguably the best player in the draft last year. He's going to play linebacker next to Tremaine Edmonds, who had all the 5 interceptions last year. Mm-hmm. And we have the best head coach in the division and a new coaching staff. Shane Bowen is gone, so we should be able to actually utilize these defensive pieces much better. Paulson Adebo and Javon Holland, who were really good before coming to the Giants, we might see a bounce back from them. We might see a bounce back from Andrew Phillips and Tyler Nubin, who were really good in their first seasons. There's a lot to be optimistic about. But I have to talk about the other teams. So the Eagles, obviously there's a ton of talent. They lost AJ Brown, so there's a little bit less, but AJ Brown was arguably making them worse last year by demanding the ball and it not working out for them because their quarterback shouldn't be passing that much. Stank vibes. Nick Sirianni getting into fights with his roster. A lot of weird drama and things. Kevin Patullo's gone. That's the biggest addition they had, addition by subtraction. They bring in Mekhi Lemon to fill the A.J. Brown-sized hole on the team. Devonta Smith, they're hoping one of those two, probably Devonta Smith, can be a wide receiver 1. We'll see if they're right about that. Those are 2 very small receivers that they are relying on. The offensive line is still a really good unit, but it's not the dominant unit that they're used to. I think they're still more than talented enough to be a very good team, but I don't know how good they're going to be. Jonathan Grenard comes in. That's probably their actual biggest addition. They're still going to be very good, but we're past the point where they're like this just monster super team, I think. So I think it's very much in the cards that they place under the Giants. Cowboys, one of the best offenses in the NFL last year. They bring back George Pickens. Offense should still be dynamite. Defense has obviously been the issue. They had one of the worst defenses ever to start the season. They after they traded Micah Parsons, although their defense was bad when they had Micah Parsons the year prior. So they flipped some of those picks into Quinnen Williams, put him next to Kenny Clark. Donovan Ezeraku looked good. And they're hoping Malachi Lawrence could be the final piece on that defensive line. They're hoping Caleb Downs can be what he was sold as. And there's a lot of potential in the defense creeping up towards average. And with how similar to what I've been saying about the Bengals, the offense is so good that if the defense is just average, they can be a good team. We'll just see if that can happen. And then Commanders, the story with them is obviously they have 2 good players on the whole roster, and one of them is the quarterback, but he's hurt all the time. So if he's healthy, they should be a good team. If he's hurt, they will not be a good team. And, Sonny Styles looks like a freak, but, we'll see. He is a linebacker overall. We'll see how much that actually affects the team.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of sentiments. I agree with you. And look, I do think that the Giants are going to be a solid team. Now, I'm not going to let you think they're going to win the division. I'll let you have that, but I don't think they'll win the division. I think you'll be a pesky team. I think the Giants will be a very pesky team. My thing is
we will peskily win the division. Yeah.
It's nothing against John Harbaugh. Obviously, he's won a championship, been around in playoffs, but he's also kind of gotten stale and just kind of it's the same Harbaugh. Like, and he's also had some moments where, like, bro, you've had multiple moments in the last few years that you just didn't close the deal, bro. Hey, like you're the coach of a team that's just not closing the deal, and if it's something that happens once, okay, and shit just wasn't our night. Twice, all right, it's more. It happened again, and we're talking about several situations now where his team has just not closed the deal, and it's like, all right, is there a problems like philosophically that's going on, or a complacency with just, and you see it. It happened with Andy Reid in Philly, and then he leaves. He was kind of knocking on him. But
I was just gonna say, because that was gonna be my response, because you're right. He was getting stale in Baltimore.
Yeah.
And what do head coaches do when they're getting stale? They change environments.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Harbaugh is doing. And you're right. Yes, and you're right. He's had some moments. He's absolutely had some moments where he's blown leads, made puzzling decisions, stopped running the ball at times where there was no reason to. All of that is true. I mean, the game 1 of last season where they put the ball back in Josh Allen's hands, there was a lot of things. However, look me in my eyes and tell me Harbaugh's not the best coach in the division.
Oh, he's first, Schottenheimer's second, Sirianni's third by default, and Quinn is in. I agree with Crafty Southpaw. Washington's definitely finishing last because I think Dan Quinn is going to find out of a job at some point in this season. Yeah, I don't think they got enough talent, and I just don't know if they did enough to make sure to protect that young man. He's too reckless with his body. I thought he learned from his mistakes in college, but he made it through his rookie season, so that's why I was like, oh, he learned his lesson, and then he just because even when he got hurt and was coming back, was still throwing his damn body around and got hurt again, and I'm just like, okay, he didn't learn his lesson, so I don't think he's going to be around for a whole season.
And that's why I generally avoid predicting with injuries, like, well, he'll be hurt, blah blah blah, all that, because it is predictable.
But if a player doesn't change their behavior.
No, I understand that. But he's had 2 seasons. One of them's been healthy. One of them hasn't been. I think there's a good chance he'll get hurt again, just because being hurt so much adds wear and tear to your body on top of everything. So I think there is a good chance of it. I try to step back with that in predictions. But my point is, with Washington, that's basically unavoidable because that's always been an issue for him. Also, to Crafty Southpaw's point, I agree. They shouldn't have fired Kingsbury. That also, even if Daniels does play, we might see a little bit of regression due to the wear and tear on his body and not having Kingsbury.
Big facts. Big facts. And yeah.
So also, I'm to make like to be clear, when I talk about teams, I'll try to talk about them in the order of where I think they'll place, just so it's clear.
No, that's fair.
Where I'm standing, and I have been so far.
And I'm definitely, surprisingly, I might actually roll with the Cowboys to win this division. I know.
Are you? Is it because I complimented the Broncos? Is that why you're doing this?
No, man. It has absolutely nothing to do with you. I'm just saying that the Cowboys. I just think Shoddy. He just earned my respect the moment he benched Pickens and CeeDee Lamb and said, nah. He put his foot down and he said, I'm the sheriff. He said, I'm the captain of this ship. And I respected that. And I think the locker room did. And then you saw that. Say what you want, the Cowboys did play better down the stretch. It was still a little too late because they was already pretty much eliminated, but they played
it's just hard to give a head coach that much credit for being a rookie head coach and having 1 year where they have a losing record. And like that's his resume right now.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm just in terms of, I guess, when you're talking about these.
I'm not saying it's his fault. Also, like he didn't have any defensive talent.
No. I mean, they're trying to address those defensive problems. So
yeah,
we'll see how the Cowboys be. I just think they're with the offensive weaponry and what they're building on, and Dak, he puts numbers up. A lot of it's from trailing position, but hey, he puts the numbers up. And
in the regular season,
and definitely in the regular season. I'm still waiting for you, Dak, to. Well, now that you, I'm not going there. Anyway, let's switch it to the AFC East. Go ahead, kick it off one more time, big dog.
Okay, so Bills are going to win the division. I know they didn't, but it really shouldn't be controversial to say that. The Bills are the most consistent team by far. 2 of what I think will be the 3 worst teams in the NFL are in this division. So certainly makes it easy. That's 4 straight easy wins to clear. Josh Allen does have to figure out the turnovers, but Josh Allen is Josh Allen. He's still one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. They bring in DJ Moore. Really like that for them. He finally might have receiver help. DJ Moore was pretty good with the Bears. Should be pretty good here. Biggest concerns, the rest of the receiver group and the defense. But the offensive line is a really good unit. They have James Cook, who's great. When Josh Allen, when they don't want to rely too much on Josh Allen's arm, they could always run the ball through James Cook. They've been very successful doing that. So I guess the big concern is this team a playoff threat? But I think they're undoubtedly the choice to win the division. Patriots, to get on my hater position.
Hate.
I'm predicting this is a 7-10 team. I think Drake May is a good quarterback. I think he will stay a good quarterback. But the team has a ton of holes. They bring in A.J. Brown, which is great. They lose Stephon Diggs, and they bring in A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown is better than Stephon Diggs in the year of our Lord 2026. But it's still basically relying heavily on one receiver. They went from what was the easiest schedule in the 21st century to what's going to be a normal first place schedule.
I play them tough schedules now, big dog.
Yeah, I do not. From looking at how awful Drake May was in the playoffs playing good defenses, I do not think he has a chance of being like an MVP caliber quarterback again. I think they will be a solid, decent, respectable-ish 7-10 team. I do not think they are going to win the division again. I think that all of what happened last season was a flash in the pan. The defense is a solid unit. It's not a great unit either. Really, aside from Christian Gonzalez, Milton Williams, AJ Brown, and maybe Drake May. We don't even really know with him. Everyone is like fine. Trevion Henderson was good. Like, they have good players in places, but like there's no unit that's dominant on this entire team. The offensive line is still a huge question mark. Just everything. Everything's a huge question mark on this team. They one of the flukiest voodoo Super Bowl runs ever. And I absolutely think this is the regression candidate that'll come back to earth. And then the Jets and the Dolphins are the Jets and the Dolphins. So
he is voodoo.
Yes. There's just not much to say. Of course they're gonna suck. They're also in the Arch Manning sweepstakes.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I definitely Jets will be in the Arch Manning sweepstakes. I think the Dolphins will be too.
Yes.
Even though they just signed Malik Willis. I don't know how that's going to go because as soon as you sign him, you strip him of all his weapons.
Yes. I'm very low on the move personally.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, Malik, damn, at least he got paid.
Yeah, exactly. Good for him too. But like, you're taking a guy who was horrible in his only starting role. He had some flashes of really good play as a backup in a much better structure that you're giving him now. And also, you paid him like a decent amount of money to be a starter when you're really should just be looking to tank right now. Like, why are you looking to pay any of these quarterbacks that are in the NFL right now? Just tank and get yourself a rookie, like adults. Like, stop it.
Yeah. Wow. Dolphins won't be good. I will say this about the Jets though. They'll probably win more games than they did last year. I don't know if it'll be enough to save Aaron Glenn's job. Because I mean, if you say, "Oh, we got progression," give me time. I don't know if they will. Don't know.
Yeah,
I agree. The Bills win this division. Patriots. I just got to see you really do it again. So, because just making the Super Bowl, we've seen teams make a Super Bowl and then miss the playoffs for 3 straight years. So,
yeah, for sure.
But yeah.
And as far as the Aaron Glenn portion to address that, yeah, I mean, that's we've talked about this before, that head coaches are scapegoats. The NFL will fire them for basically any reason nowadays. Like, the fact that they suck is not Aaron Glenn's fault. Like, he was given no talent last year. He's being given no talent this year. They traded away the only 2 good players they have. Well, 2 of the 3 good players. 2 of the 4 good players that they have. Why you would expect anything of him after that is kind of unfair to me. Like, you should be acknowledging you're in a rebuild right now. But there is a good chance that they do fire him anyway. They, for whatever reason, traded a pick to get Geno Smith from the Raiders. They brought in older players like Demario Davis and Minka. So I think that they think they're supposed to be winning games right now, because why else would their players like that? David Ayamada, like, I don't know, but they, again, tank like adults.
Let's tank like adults. Like, come on, let's be like at least somewhat like make this shit look legit. Like, yeah. Patriots, yeah, I'm just not sure. Just not sure. Let's move on to the NFC North. Lions, Vikings, Bears, Packers. A very competitive division, in my opinion, right here. I don't know if I'm ready to go all in, and this might be the first time that all 4. No, that's not going to happen at all. I think they might get another 3 teams in here. I know they're worried about the injury with Micah. I know Minnesota has got some quarterback questions. But I love their defense. I love their, hey, I know Brian Flores is not getting a coaching job, and that's okay. But they ain't dropped that suit.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't dropped that suit. So I'll let your boy. Look, Lions had it down here, missed the playoffs. This is put up or shut up time for me for my man Dan Campbell. Because you were one of the hottest teams after you turned them around. All right, because you did have some shitty years, first couple of years, then you turned them around, and now you just had your fall off after your hot run. So I got to see what your response is as a coach now, because you got punched in the mouth last year. That's some things that just didn't go your way. It's the playoffs. How do you respond? I'm curious on that. Caleb Williams has shut me up, and I'm buying into the Caleb Williams effect. Him and Ben Johnson seem that they I don't know how the relationship is, but on the field, he's gotten the best out the kid. I know it's 1 year, but that man, he made some couple throws and some moments that almost snapped your neck. Where you like, did you see that throw, cuz?
Yep. A couple of the greatest throws ever were by one guy this past season.
I'm just saying, my man, he made me pop my neck a couple of times. Like, hey, cuz, did you see that throw? So it's like, all right, I'm buying in. And here's the crazy thing. Jordan Love could possibly be on that level if he can ever get out of his own damn way.
Yes.
If he can ever get out of his own damn way, we can easily be talking about Jordan Love in the same breath as a Caleb Williams. Jared Goff is going to be Jared Goff. He's not going to be too much, not going to be too less. He's just going to be Jared Goff.
Which might end up being what he's been, which has been like one of, if not the best offenses in the NFL, like second or third in yards, second or third in touchdowns, which has been pretty consistently. You get some good stuff out of him as long as you can protect him.
That's been the thing. I can't remember what I was watching. It might have been Man Down Sports, so shout y'all out. A man has kind of been in some good situations, whether it was with the Rams or with the Lions. He's had some offensive weapons around him, some good offensive minds around him.
Yep.
Like, so it's not like Jared Goff has ever been in a situation where, like, he's been in a New York Jets type of situation. You know what I'm saying? He really ain't that. So I think we know for a fact he can get you to a Super Bowl. Winning it has to be the team. I just think that's just where it is. Like, he can quarterback it, manage it, game manage it, which is I don't think is a knock on quarterbacks to be called a game manager, but he can get you to the Super Bowl dance. Now, everybody got to dance with us. We all got to get it, all 53. So, I just think in this division, I do think the Bears win it. Packers, Lions, Vikings could all potentially, if they shore up their major issues, especially with Minnesota quarterback. If Kyler Murray can really actually do something with KOC, I mean, I think you do got to start him over JJ. I just think you have to.
You have to, for sure.
JJ just...
He's the worst quarterback in the NFL.
Or
the worst starting quarterback.
Okay, I'm just saying, just for the fact of what we got of him is a lot of missed time and injuries. That's the only thing I got of him. So if that's the only thing I got of you, it's kind of hard for me to put you at QB1 with a guy of, Kyler Murray's athletic ability just sitting right there. I can't do that. Like,
Right, and it's not like this is not the same thing as the Cardinals Dolphins or Jets. Like, they're not trying to tank. They have a win now team. And this division should be the most competitive division. All 4 teams are really good teams. They all have some question, but they are all really good teams. The Vikings, if Kyler Murray starts, we forget, because of how the Vikings were last year, that they have one of the best weapons groups in the NFL. They have consistently one of the best defenses, the Brian Flores defense. They did lose Jonathan Grenard, but they're expecting Dallas Turner to break out after having a double-digit sack season. So they may end up not missing him all that much. We'll see. The offensive line that they revamped, there were a lot of injuries to it last year. If Darisaw, Brian O'Neill, Donovan Jackson all stay healthy, should be a good unit. If they could just get like average quarterback play, this should be a really good team. With the worst quarterback play in the entire NFL between JJ and Brosmer, they still had a winning record. That's how good this team, this infrastructure of this team is. So if you plug Kyler in there, Kyler gets a new opportunity, he gets revitalized, he puts down the controller, and he like decides to lock in.
Yo, the only problem is, you know, it comes out in November, right?
I do, yeah, I know. But, like, if he could just be like a good quarterback, not even if he's like a top 16 quarterback, this team could be a Super Bowl team. Like, it's such a loaded unit. But the quarterback play was so bad, it had people forgetting that Justin Jefferson is a great receiver. There are people out there that after last year are like, oh, Justin Jefferson's washed now. Like, JSN is better than him. Puka Nacua is better than him. Like, after one season. The recency bias is crazy. He still had 1,000 yards in that system. That man has had 1,000 yards with Josh Dobbs. He's had 1,000 yards with Nick Mullins. He could have 1,000 yards with anybody.
Yeah.
So you could just give Justin Jefferson like average play, and he will be a star.
Hey man, get easy. Hey man, we a late night show, dog.
Hey, bro, Bobby, why don't you go get yourself a tie, and then you could decide what side of the fucking of the fucking chest it hangs on. Okay, you dress better for your show. I'm gonna come into your comments. I'm coming to your comments on Thursday.
That's wow.
Yeah. So the Vikings should be a really good team if Kyler Murray is like even like an average quarterback. Lions, dominant unit, basically everywhere. I think Jared Goff is very underrated for what he's been doing. Yes, they were like the bottom of the division last year. That was not his fault. There were a lot of injuries on that defense. The defense was not very good. There were issues with the offensive line, which I know he is not great under pressure. That's why you need to protect him really well. You're right that he's not the kind of quarterback that can Superman his way through a season. But if you get him help, he will produce. He's produced very consistently. The defense should be much better. I really liked the addition of Derek from Michigan, Derek Moore, putting him next to Aiden Hutchinson. Aiden Hutchinson really needed help in the edge room. The secondary should look better if they're not all injured. Love the addition of Keith Abney in the draft. I think this team will be a really good team. They should absolutely be a playoff team. They should be a team that can go somewhere in the playoffs. There is the question, because Ben Johnson leaves and the team gets worse, how much of the coaching was Ben Johnson? I do think that a decent amount was, but I do think that Dan Campbell is a great coach in his own right. And I think that the unit is a well-rounded enough unit. If Dan Campbell can just be a good coach, they should go very far. If Blake Miller can protect the right side with Penei Sewell on the left, they should go very far. There's still center concerns after losing Frank Ragnow. We'll see how well Cade Mays was pretty solid for the Panthers. He should be able to fill that hole adequately.
Yeah.
So those are the questions, but I think the Lions are going to be a very good team. Bears, you remember my QB rankings from last year,
Yeah.
super high on Caleb. I think he will take another step. He had the massive step he took from year 1 to year 2 shows that he's gradually improving as it is. My main question with the Bears and why I have them third in the division is not the offense at all. I know they lost DJ Moore, but Luther Burden is ascending. Colston Loveland is ascending. Roma Dunze is ascending. I'm not worried about the pass catching unit. I'm not worried about the offense. They did lose Ozzy Trapillo for large parts of the season. They brought in Braxton Jones. They brought in Garrett Bradbury to be center. The offensive line shouldn't be as dominant as they were last year, but it's still a really good unit. They still have Joe Tooney. They still have Darnell Wright. The issues are on the defense entirely. I'm still very concerned about that defense. The defense had a ton of turnovers last year, and that kind of made up for the fact they didn't have that much pass rush, and the run defense was below average. They lose Tremaine Edmonds to us. They lose both of their safeties. They bring in Dylan Thieneman to hopefully replace what they were doing, but he is a rookie. And at no point do they add another edge next to Montez Sweat. They take a 7th round or 6th round defensive tackle, and it's just the defensive line is not good outside of Montez Sweat. I don't think the defense is going to be good enough to complement. I think Caleb is going to be asked to do a lot of Superman shit, and I think he'll be able to do a good amount of it, but I think that will hold the team overall back, especially in the playoffs. My 4th team is the Packers, and really through no fault of their own. I just think the other teams are better. I still think the Packers will be a good team. I think they'll be a very good team. I think they should even still have a winning record. But I think the other teams are just better. Not having Micah for as long as they shouldn't have Micah is a massive hit. We saw the on-off numbers with the defense when he was there and when he wasn't. So the receiver room is not. I know they paid Christian Watson quite a bit of money. They lost Romeo Doubs, who was fine. Their receiver room is just kind of fine. Everything in the unit is kind of fine, and their biggest star by far isn't going to be there a lot. So, So that's my rankings of where I think the teams are going to be there, but it'll be the most competitive division in my opinion.
Dog, they're bringing old school NFL back when you got the big NFC North just being probably most competitive team. Division. Switch to AFC North, which used to be probably one of the most competitive divisions, but this is a division of a whole bunch of new coaches. A new coach in Baltimore, new coach in Pittsburgh, new coach in Cleveland. Somehow, a man in Cincinnati kept his damn job. Three years in a row. I don't know how Zach Taylor must got some blackmail on the Paul Barron family. I don't know. Anyway, no. So look, I really don't know with this division. There's a whole bunch of I don't know. But with that being said, I know I don't see Pittsburgh winning this division. I'm gonna just stick with Baltimore until further notice, because my thing is I trust that quarterback. Look, I know how good Joe Burrow is, but we just had this conversation last show about just, hey, if you're healthy, you're probably one of the coldest quarterbacks on earth. But no, we're not getting a whole bunch of that. Aaron Rodgers, I don't trust the age of him because he did in some points in the season last year showed his age. He just wasn't mobile enough. And then Man, that's a whole bunch of quarterback mess in Cleveland. Oof. Yeah. Cleveland, look, they're going to play a whole bunch of defense like they did last year, but then not going to have consistent offense. They'll be at the bottom. Cincinnati will be solid. I know you get Dexter Lawrence, but you pretty much swapped him out and put the same position Dexter Lawrence in that your man Trey Hendrickson was in, which is you got to start with a whole bunch of I don't know what you got. I know you made some moves, defensive moves, and I've seen some of the people you signed defensively, but none of those guys are like needle movers. Those are your general people that you put on the roster that they might potentially compete for the top of that depth chart, but they're not solid number one. I got that number one spot on that position depth chart, guys. So, no, and so I would go Baltimore winning it, Cleveland at the bottom, and then the Cincinnati and Pittsburgh trying to pick up their scraps and try to make it to a wild card. Yeah.
So I'm going Baltimore 1 also, and I think my Baltimore right now is my pick to come out of the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
I think they are the best top to bottom roster. By bringing in Trey Hendrickson, they fixed what was their biggest issue, which was pass rush. They did lose Tyler Linderbaum, but they brought in Vega, who should help the interior offensive line not really miss a massive step. And plus, I mean, they have the best evader, the best scrambler in the NFL behind an offensive line, so it's going to make any offensive line look a little bit better. Obviously, they have Derrick Henry. If the defensive pieces stay healthy, which they didn't last year, but if they do, it's a great top to bottom team. And I think that they should come out of the AFC, and I think they should win this division. Bengals, I have second, just like what I said about the Cowboys. Obviously, assuming Burrow's health. Because he's kind of been like every other year, and he was hurt last year, so this might be his healthy year. Not that that's inherently proof of anything, but if we're trying to use any sort of predictor, that might be one you could point to. The offense is so good. The offense is and easily like a top 2 or 3 offense in the NFL. Maybe even the best at sometimes. If the defense is just like competent, they can win a lot of games like that. I think that they will be at least competent. They have made a good amount of moves, Dexter Lawrence being one of them. Trey Hendrickson was hurt for a lot of the year before last. I'm sorry, not the year before last year. For last year, Trey Hendrickson was hurt, and that was a huge part of why they were as bad as they were. Now he played and tied for the lead in sacks the year prior, and the defense was still awful. So they were so bad that Joe Burrow led the league in everything, and they still missed the playoffs. But you lose Trey Hendrickson, but you bring in Dexter Lawrence, who should help both the pass rush and the run defense. They bring in Cassius Howell in the draft, who I like a lot. I think that he will not that I don't expect him to replace Trey Hendrickson immediately, but he will add pass rush. Like they'll have next to Dex, they'll have competent pass rush, I think, between the two of them. Shamar Stewart, I still think is a non-factor, but they may not need much out of him yet. DJ Turner, really good corner. The secondary should look better. I don't think this is going to be a good defense still. Like you said, like there's not a lot of needle movers, but could they be like a top 25 defense? I think that's on the table. I think they could be a competent defense. And if you have the best offense in the NFL, or like one of them with a competent defense, you can win a lot of games like that. And so after that, I actually have the Browns. I think that the Browns are going to be better than they've been, depending on if they start Deshaun Watson. This does not apply. This is assuming they start Shedeur Sanders.
Okay. I'll be like, where you going?
Yeah. I think that's still the plan. We've heard rumblings. We'll see in training camp if Deshaun Watson is getting reps. But assuming the Shador Standards starts, we've been among his like only defenders. The defense is a loaded unit. The defense is still a loaded unit. Yes, they lose the best defensive player in the world, but they bring in a top 10 edge to replace him, and they still have Denzel Ward. They still have Carson Schweschinger. They still have Mason Graham. They bring in I.O.W. from the draft. They have a lot of Devin Bush left and went to the Bears.
Yeah.
Yes, they have a lot of good players on this defense. Defense should still be really, really good.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. Offense. The issue with the offense last year, I think, was that nobody could have performed well in that offensive structure. I don't think that Dylan Gabriel is a good quarterback, but he also basically had no chance. They had, by like EPA per play, the worst offensive line and the worst receiver core in the entire NFL. It's not, if you know that, it's not shocking that Joe Flacco went from being horrible and having a negative touchdown interception ratio with the Browns, and then he goes to the Bengals and immediately looks like a starting quarterback. So given that, they have now revamped the entire offensive line. They brought in Spencer Fano. They brought in Wyatt Teller. Changed every position on that team. For receiver, Jerry Jeudy was awful last year. Jerry Jeudy did not help his quarterback at all, and that was their best receiver by far. Mm. So, in addition to Harold Fannin at tight end, who looked very good last year and should ascend, for wide receivers, they now have Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston. If they get solid play from that offensive line and that receiver core, then we can actually see what Shador Sanders can do with like a chance. And also a head coach that doesn't seem to be purposefully holding him back at times. You take all of that, let's assume Todd Monken is competent as a head coach. It's the reverse of the Bengals. You have a great defense. If you just have like a competent offense, then you can win. Like you could be like a respectable team like that. And the last team that I have is the Steelers. They lose Mike Tomlin, which I think was a massive floor raiser. I think switching him for Mike McCarthy is a big omen. Aaron Rodgers is getting older. Aaron Rodgers is gradually getting older. The team on paper actually looks arguably better than last year. They bring in Jamel Dean. They bring in Michael Pittman. I like those moves. Their offensive line is worse than it was last year, though. And for a 40-something-year-old quarterback, that's a big deal. The defense is aging more and more. TJ Watt has not been the TJ Watt of old. We're seeing kind of the declines of everybody on the defensive unit. The defense wasn't even good last year.
Because it getting old.
Yeah, exactly. For the first time in a really long time, the defense hasn't been good. So I think Jamel Dean will help, but even he's also an older player. If you don't have a good defense, I don't think this offense is going to be good enough to carry you or vice versa. So I think this will be the worst team in the division, just because I don't really think there's any area where they excel. I don't think either side of the ball is even above average. And so that's my main concern there. And their big floor raiser is gone. I think this will be the first losing season the Steelers have had in a long time because Tomlin's not there.
Hey, Steelers fans, you some of y'all wanted them gone. Okay. All right. All right. We weren't competing for Super Bowls, but hey, man, you knew what you was getting. Hey,
right.
We get to the playoffs now. It's on whatever happens after this, but we can affect that. But I'm gonna get you there. And so it's like I don't know.
Yeah, and I like Tomlin.
I do too.
I do also understand, just like I've said with the other teams, if you're not competing for a title already, then you should be looking to tank. And Tomlin was just never going to let that happen. So maybe the problem with is Mike McCarthy, I think, also probably won't let that happen. I don't think they'll be bad enough to get a star quarterback in the draft, but I do think they'll be worse, and that's not a great not a great purgatory to land yourself in.
I damn sure don't think they'll be good enough to compete for a title. But let's move on to this one of the strangest divisions, NFC South: Panthers, Falcons, Buccaneers, and who else is in there? I remember the brain fart. Saints. There we go. Saints. Yeah. There we go. Look, obviously this was the division of a whole bunch of mediocre, a whole bunch of 8-9s. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if we get a whole bunch of that again. Surprisingly, I don't know if the Panthers will repeat. I don't know if the Buccaneers will compete. They're having issues, contract issues. Just pay Vita Vea, pay him. And then also, if you're not going to pay Baker, then what is your options? Just saying. So you're dealing with some contract, and I'm not taking that into account of this. I just think that they had some durability issues. They couldn't stay healthy down the stretch, and it showed. Baker wasn't playing. He was playing hurt pretty much majority of the damn season. So is he healthy? Is he gonna be fine? You got enough protection for him? You lose Mike Evans. He's no longer there. Okay. Can Chris Godwin finally start getting back into his groove? He's had some time removed from his injuries. What else you got? Is Abuka going to be just as good as he was in his rookie season? He kind of hit a wall towards the second half because he's like, damn, I'm pretty much your only option. Like, damn, that's kind of so he hit a rookie wall. At Saints, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to compete full season. I'm not sure. Look, Tyler Shuck did some things that look good, but all right, so now the tape's on you. Now, are you going to be able to recreate that magic for a full 17? I'm going Falcons. I just think they get, like, talent-wise, I think they got the better roster about the whole division.
I agree. I actually am surprised that you had the same take. I expected this to be something you pushed back on.
No. Look at the roster. It's probably the most talented of that whole division. I just think Ken Stefanski, like, he might actually turn this to a third coach of the year situation if he can do it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, so I have the Falcons at the top of the division too. LeJawn, Drake London. The offensive line has consistently been good. I know that they lost their tackle. They replaced him with Juwan Taylor. I'm sure I don't have to tell you. Yeah, but as far as just like a pure protector, I don't think he's a bad player. It's just
he's not bad. He just got a bad misfortunate situation that happened. He got picked on by the media. Pretty much Chris Collinsworth was the spearhead of that. When you get what was that?
It was because of all the penalties.
Oh yeah, but when you get singled out on Sunday Night Football and Chris Collinsworth does his dramatic talk about it and paints a picture on you, and then that narrative is already driven. So, but it was deserving, and he was solid. But yeah, I'm with you, Falcons.
Yeah. It should still be a decent offensive line. Chris Lindstrom is still there leading it. So the offensive line will be – so it's between Penix and Tua. I'm not sure which one of them is going to start. Penix was not good last year, but he did have flashes. That Bills game, for instance, he showed talent and flashes throughout the season. I don't know what he's going to look like, but I'm not really betting on him. I think that Tua, when he plays, and I know how bad he was last year, but I think it's important for everyone to remember that's the only year he's ever been that bad.
Man.
And he had one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL. Tyreek Hill went out really early.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that's the help's fault. He individually played very badly, but he's going to be going into a team that has Bijan, that has Drake London, that has a better offensive line with Chris Lindstrom, and he'll have Kevin Stefanski. I think that he will be in a better situation than he's been in quite some time. I think that because this is someone who led the league in yards one year.
Yeah.
Like, this is somebody who had one of the greatest offenses in NFL history one year.
He scored 70 plus.
Yeah, he scored 70 plus on the Broncos defense. And like the Broncos defense is not the current Broncos defense, but it's still incredible.
Had a lot of players on that defense that got scored 70 points on.
Yeah, it's before Sean Payton made them good. But yes, like Patrick Surtain was on that defense. And he was already good. So like before anyone's like, well, he had Hill and Waddle. He had good games when Hill was out and when Waddle was out. I don't think it's just that. Like, he has talent. So you put him in a much better situation. You put him with what should be better coaching than Mike McDonald as the head coach. McDaniel's the head coach. I think that they could be solid. And then the defense was very good last year. You had JPJ is coming back, beat the Chargers. Jalen Walker. You have a really good edge duo that were both really good last year, showed a lot of flashes. You have AJ Terrell and his brother, who I think will be a very good corner unit, because corner was a big issue for them. That should be better. You have a top 3 safety duo in the NFL with Jesse Bates and Xavier Watts. So should be really I don't think it's going to be a great team, but as weak a division as we're talking about, they are in a good position to win it.
Yeah.
Especially with like another phenomenal season from Bijan. And then Buccaneers next. Buccaneers have been the team that's been the top of the division, but Baker got hurt last year, halfway through the season, as he was on his MVP run. Emeka Egbuka declined, partially because of that, partially just because he declined. The team started to kind of go down. The defense was like average. Todd Bowles was having coaching issues. And the team just kind of fell apart down the stretch. I think they'll still be a solid, respectable team, but there are a lot of questions. We'll see what Baker looks like. We'll see what they look like without Mike Evans, although we kind of did see that last year. Levante David is out. Ruben Bain should be a massive increase to the pass rush. So the defense might actually be better overall, depending on how he turns out. If they bring back Vita Vea, put him next to Ruben Bain, Yaya Diaby. I really like David Walker, who they picked up last year. We haven't seen anything from him yet. Could have Antoine Winfield. You could have a really good, not necessarily great, but like a very good, respectable defense. You could have a good offense. I think they'll be a respectable team, but I don't think they're going to be as good as the Falcons. And then we'll see kind of how the contract situation works with Baker going into next year. Because there are 2 quarterbacks who kind of are fighting to keep their jobs on the teams this year. Next is the Saints, who I think will be the Saints. I don't really know what to do with, and I feel like that's a pretty common opinion. Like Tyler Shuck looked solid last year. Had some flashes. He did win games. He won games against bad teams, though. So just like with Drake May, you don't really know what to do with that. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have a very talented team around him. I like Chris Olave. He's a very good receiver. Jordan Tyson, if he's able to stay healthy, because that's the big concern with him, that could be a really good receiver duo. Yeah. They've drafted tackles high, and the offensive line can get to a point of respectability. I think the interior still has some issues, but the 2 tackles are good. Shuck, I think Shuck will be good. I don't see any reason why he'd be bad, even though I expect him to be bad coming out of the draft. I'm willing to believe what I'm seeing with him, but will he be a great quarterback off of that? I don't have proof of that yet.
I don't know, but that film on that ass now, man. I'm just
Yeah,
it's always it was a cute story last year because I agree with you. I'm like, all right, you know, man, he's kind of got the Saints playing some good football, and I'm like, okay, yeah, my bad, Tyler, because I was like you. I was like, man, who the hell trying to shut? Who? What?
yeah.
Over Shador? Why would you do that? Like,
Yeah.
Because like I you know, Tyler, won't nobody check with Charlie Shaw when he was at Louisville? Like they
Injured all the time too.
So yeah, Saint. I'm like you. I'm like I don't know what to really do with y'all. Like,
yeah, no, exactly. I don't know what to do with him. I think he'll be, decent. But you're right. The having the film on him is a big deal now because I think a lot of rookie quarterbacks get a bolster. I think it's the main reason for what we call the sophomore slump because that's when they get film on you.
Yeah.
And he's going to be, I don't know if he's going to be playing better teams because I think they finished. Did they finish last or did the Falcons finish last? Either way, they'll have like a third or fourth place schedule, so the schedule shouldn't be crazy hard. But he's gonna have to play for a full season.
Yeah,
but he has some expectations now. So I don't know what I don't really know what to do with them. I don't think they're going to be a very good team, but I think they will have some flashes of good play. I have them winning about 5 games. I think that's probably fair for them. Yeah. And then the Panthers, I know that they won the division, and I know that I'm predicting them to fall all the way to the bottom, even though arguably they got better. They had a very good draft. They brought in Devin Lloyd. They brought in Jaden Phillips. Paid him too much money, but the team, he'll make it better. I just can't get behind Bryce Young. Like it's just that it's just a bias on my end. I can't justify it in any other way. I cannot get. It was so weird. He was great, and then he was awful, and then he was great, and then it was awful, and it didn't seem to have anything to do with the team. It was just random because he would be really good against good teams, that he would be awful against bad teams. Like. He won the division somehow that way. He lost the last game of the season to the Buccaneers, but because the Falcons beat the Saints, he went to the playoffs anyway. It was so weird. And then he had a good game against the Rams in the playoffs. It's a sample size thing, I guess. Like, be good consistently before I believe in you.
It's crazy because like. I don't know what to really do with Bryce Young neither because it's like you got benched, they brought you back, and they like for you to be a first number 1 overall pick to get benched like that, like
for Andy Dalton.
That's my thing. Like,
and Andy Dalton was better. Like they were correct to bench him. That's the worst part of it.
But he did bounce back, started playing a little bit better that season, and he had like you said, an up and down season last year. I don't know, but I'm also kind of looking at the franchises at the Panthers is like, are you doing enough to protect them? Are you doing enough to get the offensive line, weaponry?
And he has Tedero McMillan now. He has the best weapon he has played with, who should get even better over time.
For sure.
And I think that's a massive part of why Bryce Young was good at all. Like, Tedero McMillan really did a good carry job for that offense.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't believe in Bryce Young. And I feel like I need more of an analysis to justify it, and I just don't have one. Like I
you gotta help me, Bryce. Gotta help me. But last and final division, the AFC South. For some reason, both South divisions are almost identical. Where I'm not expecting a lot of the AFC South. So my headlines for this one is Duval will not repeat as the champs. I think they take a step back. I think the Colts are going to be abysmal. They're going to be terrible. The Titans won't finish last. And the Texans by far could just win this defensively. But the headline is, can CJ help the defense of Houston? That's all I got. I think it's plain and simple for that for me in this division of the AFC South. Houston wins it in a landslide because that defense is scary as hell. But they just need some help from CJ, and we don't need to carry CJ. We just need you to help. Trevor Lawrence will be. I think he'll be able to repeat what he did last year. Him and Liam Cohen, they were able to fix a little bit of the issues that I've had with Trevor. Not fully. He still got Trevor in him. He's going to give you some turnovers now, but now can he limit those and give me more good plays than bad plays for sure. And Cam Ward, he's going to be better. They're going to be scrappy because Robert Saleh is a scrappy coach. We've seen what he did in New York, pretty much making a juggernaut out of the defense and hoping that his offense can try to muster up something. I think in this situation, he'll get the defense right because that's what he does. Is now you got a guy like Cam Ward who already has a mental makeup of wanting to be a winner. So when you add that, you're still missing some things to grow your team to make it better. You're missing some stars. You're missing the Jimmys and the Joes. You're missing some. You are. So there's going to be a lack of talent compared to other teams. Could you fight for a wild card? No, I wouldn't be shocked. That's just me personally. I don't think you will, but I wouldn't be shocked. I just think that it's going to be tough. There's some other good teams in the AFC to think that the Titans are going to be from one of the worst teams to a wild card team. I just don't think that's possible. I think you'll be scrappy. And then, the Colts. I just think you're going to be bad. Find a way to get Jonathan Taylor, get some value for him while you can in this running back market. Save him. Free him. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what the hell you're doing in Indianapolis. I have no idea Chris Ballard, I think, GM, what are you doing? I don't know. You got to. What's your direction, bro? Because I just think you're winging it at this point. I have no idea what the hell you're doing. No, I'm just being serious. Moves. I'm like, what are you doing?
So I mean, I have the same order: Texans, Jaguars, Titans, Colts. Texans, I do think that CJ Stroud, there's a good chance CJ Stroud is better. I don't know if he's going to be, we're going to ever get rookie season CJ again, but
I don't think so.
The offensive line, the biggest issue between last year and the past year and the one prior, was that the offensive line was awful. And everyone was like, fix the offensive line. And so they changed the offensive line coach. They brought in Ariante Ursary in the draft, and they did nothing else. They also, their best offensive lineman, Laramie Tunsil, they traded away. And they replaced him with a rookie. And then they changed their coach, and they were like, okay, offensive line fixed. And it wasn't fixed, and it was still bad. And CJ Stroud got worse. And he got so bad, which I think is partially the result of just being traumatized out of development, which is what happened to David Carr on the Texans as well.
My head scrambled, bro.
It was so bad that Davis Mills came in and was better than him. And that's bad. That's very bad. They finally did real offensive line restructuring. Brought in a bunch of new players on the offensive line, changed everybody. just like the Browns did. I think because of that, I'm higher on the Texans than I would have been otherwise. I think that the defense is elite still. They made it even better in the draft. They made it even better. They brought in Caden McDonald in the draft to boost the run defense. That's going to be nice. Reed Blankenship brought in as a safety. So they did all that. And all the offensive line moves, similar to what I said with the Browns, but to a much higher degree.
Yeah.
You might be the best defense in the NFL. You could just get a competent offense. As it is, the offense was not competent last year, and they still won the division
Mm-hmm.
and a playoff game. So you could very easily just have like a top 20 offense potentially if the offensive line really holds and CJ Stroud starts to revert back to some degree. And with the best defense in the NFL, you could do a lot of damage that way.
Yeah.
Jaguars, I mean, we've went through the Trevor Lawrence journey, the roller coaster that is Trevor Lawrence before. Bad, horrible first year, but it was Urban Meyer, so no one counts it. And then second year, he gets the guy who made Nick Foles and Carson Wentz a Super Bowl champion. First half of the year, awful. Second half of the year, really good. Wins a playoff game that he throws 4 interceptions in. Then he reverts back to being meh, going into bad again. And then he's awful again. And then Doug Peterson gets fired. And I do not think it was his fault, but he got fired. Liam Cohen comes in and seems to have fixed everything. Trevor Lawrence looks better. He starts the season pretty strong, and then he kind of middles out in the middle of the season, and then he has an incredible last month or so of football, and then has a game-losing interception in the playoffs. So this is a situation where I'm just splitting the difference. Where like I don't know what's gonna happen. I still don't know what you are after 5 years. So 6-11 is kind of what I'm going at right now. 6-11, ceiling maybe 8-9, 9-8. But that's I just don't know what to do with you. Titans, I like Cam Ward. Cam Ward was leading what was for most of the season until like the very end before the Raiders duked it out with them. Dookie intended. The worst team in the NFL. The offensive line's bad. The weapons were bad. The coaching was bad. The defense was bad. Everything was bad.
Not a bad.
They bring in Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh's he's a great defensive coordinator. I'm not sure how good of a coach he is because the Jets showed decent progression under him, like low-key decent progression under him. Like they almost made the playoffs with him one year. And it's the Jets, so that's saying a lot. Bring in Brian Daboll. Bring in a lot of my Giants scraps. That
dear.
Yeah, did not lost on me. Like, Wan'Dale Robinson, Cordell Flott, like, Austin Schlottman. Like, okay.
Brian Daboll. Oh, okay.
Yeah. You brought in a lot of Dane Belton. You brought in a lot of our old guys. Okay. None of those guys scare me. I don't think anybody that they brought in is like a big deal. Everyone that they brought in is like at best like a okay player, a decent, maybe solid player. But other than Jeffrey Simmons, there's like nobody on this team who's like super serious. I really liked Carnell Tate. That I was big on the Giants taking him. So I'm not going to slander him now that we didn't get him. But
not now.
No. I think Carnell Tate will still be good, but he's being expected to do quite a lot in what's still a pretty bad offense. I don't think that he's single-handedly going to raise it. I have very mixed but strong feelings on Brian Daboll, but I think he will be better as an offensive coordinator again because he was very good at that. He helped the development of Josh Allen.
Yeah, he may have helped with the development of Josh Allen, but he gave y'all some fool's gold by making thinking y'all ownership some fool's gold by thinking Daniel Jones was worthy of $40 million. Shit.
No, he did. That's totally true. But it's also to his credit that he was able to make Daniel Jones look that good. So I think that I don't see much with this team. And then the Colts has one of the most efficient offenses ever, but I was banging the table all last year on this show. This is fake. This is fugazi. This is not sustainable. And then Daniel Jones starts falling off a cliff before getting hurt. Everyone pretends that he just got hurt after being great. No. Since the Steelers game, he had been bad. And then he got hurt after a few games. It was the week that he got paid. The week that he got paid is when the decline started. And then they're bringing him back. He's coming off the serious Achilles. I do not expect him to be as good. They also took offensive help away from him. The offensive line is worse now. They lost Braden Smith. They lost Michael Pittman. He's going to rely a lot on Alec Pierce.
Who's already hurt. He's already started the season on physically unable to perform list already. He's on a pup.
Right. Yeah. So that's bad. Right. So like a lot of Tyler Warren. I mean, he was solid last year, but
he was Alec Pierce that money, dog. You literally just gave bro that bread.
Yeah, and then everything falls apart. So the defense is also not a very good unit either. Sauce Gardner brought in to help. He did not look as good as he had looked in his best years with the Jets. We'll see he's still a good player, and I expect him to still be good. But he and Travarius Ward and Laitu Latu, like these people can't save the defense. Like, I mean, other than Sauce and Ward, like there's nobody on the defense that's particularly great. On the offense, nobody but Jonathan Taylor and Quentin Nelson is particularly great. So you have a lot of bad everywhere, and you made it worse. And Daniel Jones is ass. And I'm expecting a bad year from the Colts. Very bad year. And they're going to regret that trade so deeply.
No, because we'll remind them is because we're going to come back to this when the season is over. And we're going to come back in. Hey, we're going to go to that episode we had in July where we pointed you out to that little Daniel Jones circle of NFL life. And this is exactly where you are in that process. And you fell for it, but it's nobody else's fault but your own. It's nobody else's fault but your own.
And this is the PSA. Unless you know you have your quarterback with a good sample size, your franchise guy for years, do not trade your firsts for a non-quarterback. Don't do it. Just don't do it.
Don't do it.
And don't pay Daniel Jones. Don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. But man, great episode. All right, man, we're gonna get up out of here. Hey, y'all know what it is. You need some audio needs, tap in with the brother Randy Panther on Answer Productions. That is on IG. Other than that, tap in with me on Twitter, Casey Wildcard. Of course, I.O.W Sports Network on all social media platforms. Like, share, subscribe, hit that bell notification list. You know, every time we drop some content, go live, any and everything I.O.W Sports Network related. So make sure you hit that like button, share, spread the word, subscribe. Other than that, we're going to get up out of here. Crafty Southpaw, always a pleasure to chop it up with you, my man. Hey, until the next time, y'all know what it is, man. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Hey, we up out of here. Hey.
Yeah. Silent Hill TD, yes, what's up? Yeah, come on. I.O.W Sports Network, late night edition. Let's go. Come on.
We about to raise the bar. Wild card mall. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mall. We